Alright, what's up? It's been a long time since I've done YouTube or anything. So hello, I'm back. I look a lot different, a lot fatter. Long hair, beard, and shit. So yeah, sorry for walking away. It's honestly like I just could never think of like what to do, and like it's very like, even though like I do like the laziest like type videos where I literally just sit there, I talk, I don't edit anything, like it's kind of just like one take and I just say whatever I say, even if I fuck up, like I just put it up. But it's time consuming, like you got to really put some thought into it, like you got to take the time to like sit there and do it. Like I don't know, I can make a bunch of excuses, but I just didn't do it. And a lot of people were telling me that I need to get back into it. A lot of people like actually found my Instagram through YouTube, which is crazy to think about, just because I already kind of had like a biggish Instagram following, and then like I did YouTube because of that, and like just because people told me to. But a lot of people would DM me and be like, hey, like I found you on YouTube, like this and that, or like when are you gonna make more videos, like I found you on YouTube, this and that. And that's crazy. So it's very obvious like the reach is there, and like I kind of got to do it. So I'm gonna try. I have no promises. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna upload every week or every month or every year or every day. I'm just gonna see what happens. I'm just gonna try to do it like whenever I have a topic in mind, or like, yeah, like I'm just gonna upload it whenever. So don't expect too much unless I say something about it. But what I was going to talk about today is like the overall market of vintage right now. A lot of people want opinions on that. A lot of people have very strong opinions on that. A lot of people have very deferring opinions on that. It's honestly very crazy. And like as somebody that's been doing this, I like to say that I'm part of like the Instagram of vintage, like the Instagram part of vintage, like because I've been doing this for like decades, like a lot of people, but I've been on it before it was cool on Instagram, you know? So it's kind of different. And especially now it's like such a strong Instagram market that it makes a big difference. And so I've kind of seen like the tides like change and like what's cool and like what's not, and like shirts now selling for exorbitant prices, and like, yeah. So I was just gonna kind of say like how I feel and like my 2 cents on why it's happening, or like how I feel about the fact that it is happening, or anything along those lines. So first up, I guess I'm just gonna get this out the way because everyone knows it's gonna get brought up. Sorry. Hold on, it's still coming. $6,000 Genie T, 6.1K Mona Lisa Fuji's bootleg. That's kind of, I guess, like where the whole market thing is like changing now, especially the Genie T. I feel like that shit like blew. Shout out Corbin one time. He broke her on Instagram. He broke her on Instagram. Look him up. If you don't know, like I feel like it's like it all anyone ever fucking talks about now is the fact that Corbin, he broke her, sold an all over print Aladdin Genie on Instagram Live for $6,000. Which is nutty. And since then, like that's when the market was already going up, and like Disney t-shirts like started popping off, like shirts were hitting 1K that like you would have never thought were like would hit those prices. Shirts that were used to go for like $20 are now going for $120. So I'll even try to go before that a little bit. I just feel like I have to bring up the $6,000 Genie first, just because I feel like that's when shit really was just like, oh fuck, like shit's different now. Like shit's changing, like fucking Genie T. But it's all because of like COVID. Like this is what I personally think. You can tell me I'm an idiot, you can tell me I'm wrong, you can agree with me, like whatever. COVID hit, and before COVID, like it wasn't like that. Like everything was regular. Like everything was pretty much the same, everything was normal. Like there were shirts that were worth $1,000, but like they were hard to find. Like a lot of shirts were $500. A lot of rap tees, like they were up there for like Wu-Tang bootlegs were still worth $1,000, but now they're like hitting for like 3,000, 4,000. So COVID happened and people kind of got shut into their own homes. People were able to kind of finesse like the whole unemployment thing. I think I didn't file for unemployment because I don't know what it takes to like get unemployment, but I think you have to, for obviously you have to be unemployed, but like you had to get fired or something like that from a job, and you have to prove that you're actively searching for a job, which isn't that hard. So like if you really wanted to go out of your way, like you could do it. But then like the stimulus checks hit, so it's like people were kind of able to like get free money. Or like I mean some people probably did get laid off and like they truly needed it, but I bet those people weren't spending 6 grand on t-shirts, you know, or like even 1,000 on t-shirts. So I think a lot of people started getting free money and they were bored at home, and the whole Instagram live vintage scene like blew up, and I think that people just kind of like that's just what they did. Like they just decided like fuck it, like I'm just gonna start buying a bunch of t-shirts because a lot of people started getting more money than like they even made like prior to COVID. Like once they started getting unemployment and all that, like people started banking, like making a lot more than they even made at their job. So of course people were shit. Of course people were gonna get a little like crazy with their money. And more or less, hold on. Yeah, so like people of course were gonna get a little like, oh, now I'm getting like 5K a month, 3K a month, like compared to whatever, you know? So like that extra like $1,000, $2,000 that they had, like that they would have never had before, like they're just like fuck it, like I'm gonna buy like this Exorcist shirt for $1,000, or like I'm gonna buy like wholesale bundles for $1,000. So like a lot more money started getting put into vintage, and shit just started hitting the fan like after that. And it's like I feel like so many people were on Instagram live, like so many people were auctioning off t-shirts that I can't even say like what I think was the shirt that changed it. But I remember I did a live and I don't remember when it was. It had to have been before July because it was before we bought the house. It might have been like June, so that's like March, April, May, June. So that's like 3 months into COVID or so. So like that's when people probably got a little bit more comfortable like with what was happening. Like it was a little less scary, you know, because when COVID first started happening, like it was kind of scary because you didn't know what the fuck was going on. So I think in there that's when I did an auction, and when I started paying like the live auction on Instagram. And I guess for people that don't know, because apparently people see my YouTube that aren't from Instagram, people started going on Instagram live, you know the feature, and more or less like you'd have a t-shirt, like let's say like you had like this Stone Cold, and you'd have it up, you'd have it like on a hanger behind you, and you'd like start the bidding off at like $1, and you'd have an auction, like you'd say the size, the whatever, you'd show it off. And a lot of people were like having it to where like somebody like me, like with a little bit of a bigger Instagram following, like you'd have a homie on with you, or like I would do it by myself, but a lot of people would do it like with other people just to get like multiple people's followings into it to where you'd get as many viewers as possible. But you'd show off a shirt and you'd auction it, and it'd be like you started at $1, you started at $100, whatever. And it'd go up by like $5, $10, and shit was just getting bid into like crazy prices. Like I started seeing like 2001 Exorcist tees like going for like 800, and before that they were worth like 150. And like I'm trying to think of like very specific shirts, but like yeah, like a lot of rap tees like that were worth like 700, 1,000, like started hitting for like 3K. Like a Biggie just sold for like 3.2, and like that Biggie was sick, but like it was definitely like before all like the whole change and everything, like it was hitting for 800 around there. A Wu-Tang that used to hit for like 800 to 1,000 just sold for like 3.5. Heart-shaped boxes like hitting for like 2,500, like, and those shits were like 1,100 all day, maybe 15, like if you had like a good buyer. So it's just like everything kind of changed, and like which isn't bad. And this will kind of like parlay into like what I'm like, how I feel about it all. I'm just trying to explain like what I think happened, like the reasoning to why it happened in my opinion. And but yeah, I feel like people were just bored at home. They had more money because they were getting like unemployment or whatever. And then it turned into, I honestly think people were having pissing contests. Like that's what I tell like my homies is like people want to act like they're the shit. Like, and, you know, like guys, because it's mostly guys. Like there's some girls that like truly buy a lot, but like it's mostly guys, and like they're out here like trying to flex their money on other guys on Instagram. Like it's kind of funny, but I think that people like they're having pissing contests with each other, which is cool. I mean, like that's up to you. It's your money. If it is your money, like you might be getting it for free or like whatever, but whatever you choose to spend your money on, like that's on you. Like that's no one else's business to tell you what to do. And that's how I feel about the market right now is, yeah, like shit's hitting for 6K, like a Genie shirt selling for 6 grand, or a Mona Lisa Fuji's hitting for 6.1. Out of those two shirts, like, cause those two are like the two highest selling shirts so far. Like the Genie for a long time was the highest at 6 grand, and then the Mona Lisa Fuji's sold for 6.1, and like they call it the Genie Slayer, like that's like the joke of the shirt. And I truly think that the Fuji's is definitely worth more than the Genie shirt. I don't know about 6K, but like I feel like I'm just saying that because I don't like, the market is so hard to tell right now what anything's truly worth that it kind of goes down. Like people like Corbin were like already saying that. And I guess I'm just gonna shout out Corbin a lot in this video. So people like Corbin and like Nate, like they were saying that like beforehand, like the whole like nostalgia of shit. And like I like other people like kind of thought it was like a little like it's kind of a cop out to say that, but I mean it's kind of like taking a turn. Like that's what most people think. Like it's the whole nostalgia of like how you watched it as a kid, and like it speaks to you for whatever reason. Like you have memories towards it, or you have like personal connections to it. And so therefore, like because of the nostalgia, like vintage t-shirts are worth whatever somebody's willing to pay, which I mean, if you want to get like nitpicky and technical, like that's kind of like what anything's worth. Like something could retail for $20, but somebody else might have to pay 40 because of whatever circumstance. But like I think that's just kind of like what the vintage market is starting to like take a turn towards, is that it's worth whatever somebody's willing to pay. And at that point, it's whoever has the biggest reach. So it's people like Corbin, people like me, people like anyone else that have like 40, 50, 60K, 70K, like on Instagram, which I mean, there's not very many. And so that kind of makes it easier on all of us. And we have the biggest reach. So therefore, it's like if shit's worth whatever someone's willing to pay, like whoever can reach the most people is going to have the highest chance of selling it for a lot. And pretty much, sorry, I feel like I'm rambling at this point, but I'm gonna try to like get my thoughts together and get it back on the track. So yeah, like I might not think it's worth 6K, but the guy who bought it, Shirt Check, he, for one, he paid. A lot of people think he didn't pay. I don't know why, but he definitely paid. And it's like he has money, so like I should say that like he's not some. Luckily, he's not just some random fucking person that spent 6K on a t-shirt. He had his reasonings. I'm not gonna like go too far into it because I know he's like in under wraps, like trying to do some shit. But he had the money to pay for it, for one. For two, it is a hard shirt to find. For three, it is dope. Like it's a Genie shirt, I get that. But it is, I mean, it's a great Disney movie. It's a crazy shirt, like all over print, great colors. Robin Williams passed away, so like that kind of like ties into it a little bit. So the shirt was valuable. Like I think Corbin spent like 500 on it, so it's like it was worth enough to sell for 500 to a reseller. And I mean technically Shirt Check is gonna resell it too, but he's on some different shit. But yeah, so it's just like shit's going for astronomically more money, but you can't get mad at it because in the long run, like it's making everyone more money. So somebody like me, I don't think that Genie shirt will sell for 6 grand again, personally, but I could find it, and instead of, I used to would have sold it for maybe 1,000, now I could probably get 3,000 for it, 4,000 maybe. So it's like it's gonna drive the market up, and I feel like anyone that hates that, you're kind of just salty. In all honesty, like a lot of people were pissed, and I keep talking about the genie tea just because I feel like that's when everyone was like, "Yo, like shit's different now. The market's fucked up. The market's great. Like the market's whatever. Like this fucking market, all these t-shirts, fucking Disney t-shirts, this and that." I feel like anyone that was truly mad about it or like felt a type of way or like felt like their pockets were now getting hurt because of it, like they're kind of just salty. Like they're just hating. Like if you can find your shit, like you're gonna get your shit. And I feel like the only people that would have been affected negatively to like the market exploding to what it is now were people that sourced incredibly lazily. Like in all honesty, like you were probably the type of person that only looked online and like you didn't even look online like that hard, and you don't like thrift, like you don't have a warehouse that you go, or like a rag house, I should say. I call them warehouses, but or like a bins or like anywhere to like actually source, you know. I feel like those are the only people that truly like feel the type of way. And I mean, I get it. Like I see that that would be annoying. Like if you could only purchase shit online, I don't know why you could only purchase it online. Maybe you just like have like you're a curator and like you only want rap tees or like you only want to sell what's hype. But it's like even then, like start buying that shit and like selling it for more because obviously the market's going up. So it's like you can still make money. You just have to be able to sell the shit and you have to be able to buy the shit. So it's like I don't truly get why so many people were like pissed off about it and like hating on it. It's just like I feel like people should be more excited about it because it means that like for one, people with more money are getting into vintage because you have people like Shirt Check that like truly have fucking cash that are like willing to spend $6,000 on a t-shirt. And then like that ties back in with the COVID money thing. Like I don't know if when COVID's over and like those unemployment checks stop rolling, like if it's gonna die off or if other people will pick up the slack or like people bought enough to where like they can sell off and rebuy other shit. I don't know. But it's just there's more people getting into it, which is good. Cause that means there's more buyers for people. That means there's more people out there digging to find shit. So if like you're one of those curator type people, you should be happy that more people are getting into this because they're doing the fucking hard work and they're gonna be the ones that go to the bins and pull out a fucking Mona Lisa bootleg like that one kid. I don't know how long that kid's been doing this or like even if he's a kid or not. But that guy, like he pulled he pulled a Mona Lisa Fuji's bootleg, a Tony Braxton bootleg, and another Fuji's like the Score, the purple one bootleg, all in the same bin. And like I don't know how long he's been doing this, but like I remember when he found it, like everyone posted about it, and I remember I saw like his page. It didn't look like he's been doing this for very long, but maybe his Instagram just wasn't that old. But like either way, like imagine he's only been doing this for like 6 months. Like that kid just found probably one of the craziest rap tees like you could ever imagine. So it's like the more people that are doing this, the more people that are gonna find you like that Mona Lisa tee. Like, cause that's why I personally think the Mona Lisa tee like was worth like 6.1, like or worth more than the Genie at least. Is like you're not gonna see that tee again. Like I know Rich just bought one or RS Vintage OC. Like I'm shouting out Corbin, so I'll shout out Rich. RS Vintage OC. I know he just got one, but like literally like I think I've only seen, including those two, I've only seen 3. So I've seen those 2 and one more ever. And like that Genie like sold for 6.1 and like 10 other ones popped up. So it's just like that kind of shows you like you're not finding that Mona Lisa again. Like, and if that kid didn't get into vintage for whatever reason it was, he wouldn't have pulled it. Somebody else probably would have got it, but it's like it could have fucking sat there, got pushed back, and ended up in like Pakistan or Africa or wherever Goodwill sent those bales that they made. So it's like, in all honesty, like the market exploding and like more people getting into it, like it's gonna help you in the long run. Like you just need to hustle a little bit more. So that goes to the people that are mad about it. I don't see why. I think you're kind of just hating. But transitioning, Disney t-shirts, I think it all kind of comes into play. Or like it all ties together. Cause like Disney t-shirts, like right now the market is huge. So like the market before COVID hit, It was all like Marvel t-shirts, and like Marvel t-shirts are still like popping off a little bit. It's definitely died down a lot, but now it's like Disney t-shirts and like movie t-shirts are like the shit. And the movie t-shirts, like I've been saying a long time. It's funny, I should have taken, sorry, Jesus. I should have taken my own advice for one. Because you could find like my podcasts like from fucking 2017, 2018. I was preaching movie t-shirts. Like that's when rap tees were like popping off like heavy. And I was preaching movie t-shirts. I was like, Pulp Fiction shirts, like movie tees are gonna be the shit. Like that's gonna be what everyone wants. Like da 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 da. It just took like 2-3 years like until it actually happened. But I should have taken my own advice because I had some crazy shit. Like I had like a few mask tees. Like I had the crazy ass Stanley DeSantis all over print mask tee. Like that shirt's definitely going for over 6K. Like if it pops up, I've only seen 2 of those too. That shirt's worth more than 6K in my opinion, judging by like today's market. But yeah, like mask tees, like before COVID, they didn't really pop up like that. I feel like no one really talks about them, which shows you like they started hitting. Like they started popping up everywhere. Like they're hitting for like 1,200, 1,000. Like them shits used to sit for like 200. Like I used to buy them for 40, and like that was just because I loved the movie like as a kid. So I was buying them at 40, wearing them, keeping them for a while, and I was selling them for like 120, 150. I sold my all over print Stanley DeSantis one for like 350 in like 2018, I think, to Future Past NYC. He was ahead of the curve. He's always had some like crazy shit, and like he was on the Marvel shit beforehand. I think he was definitely on like the movie shit beforehand. Like he's always had really dope shit. But like 350 was crazy back then. Like 350 for a mask tee, like even that mask tee was wild. I got that mask tee for 120, and yeah, so it's just like movie tees started hitting. Like Pulp Fiction tees are hitting for 1,000 now. And they used to hit for like, what did they hit for? They hit for like, I raffled one for like 225. I'll say that. They were hitting for like 200, 250. And then Disney tees, like the Disney tees blows my mind. I will say that. I think the Disney tees are a little on the stupider side when it comes to all this. Like I get it though. So like I try my best not to like hate or anything, but I do think it's kind of dumb. Just like with the fact of like, it makes sense that Disney tees would hit, like in the aspect of like, it's the whole nostalgia thing. That's like what's cool right now is like, yeah, like everyone my age who's predominantly like the ones that are collecting heavy right now and buying heavy right now are like people that are like anywhere from like 20 to like 28 probably, I'd say, like in that range. So all of us, like we grew up on Disney movies. We grew up on like Toy Story. We grew up on Monsters Inc. We grew up on The Lion King, like all that shit. But it's also like you grew up on that like when you were 5. So that tells you that it's like kind of 5-year-olds like that shit. But I mean, that's just my opinion on the whole Disney tea thing. But it makes sense because they're cool. Like the movies are cool. Like I just think they're a little cartoony for my taste. Like they're a little kiddish to me. But like I said, like I get it. Some of the graphics are super dope, so I get it. But I definitely don't see why everyone's gonna like tell me like I say I get it a lot now. But I see why like it became popular, but the prices are a little crazy right now. Like there are like Toy Story tees that are hitting for like 1,000. They used to hit for like 80. Like I used to find a lot of Toy Story shit, and I haven't in a long time. But I mean, I was selling them for 80 and they'd sit. And those same pieces now hitting for like 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. Like there's specific ones hitting for like a rack. And the Genie, which is technically a Disney tee, hit for like 6K. Like I just sold a Beauty and the Beast shirt for 250. Like, and I feel like that even was a little cheap. Like I sold a Tarzan shirt for 300. Like, so I don't know where, like what it was that made Disney tees like start popping off like that. I'm not sure, but I guess like it all had to transition into something, and I think it was the transition of the movie t-shirts. It kind of like trickled into the Disney shirts, and like that kind of just brought it up, and like it was kind of one of those things that like it was never cool before, so because of that like you wouldn't have noticed them, I should say. because like let's just use movie tees as an example. Like you had Pulp Fictions, like they were sick, like they were universally like those are dope. They're $250, like $300, like hard to find. Like people were buying them, people thought they were cool. Natural Born Killers tees, like same situation. But like Disney tees, like no one wanted a fucking Mickey Mouse shirt. Like people in Thailand and like Malaysia were the only people that were buying Disney t-shirts. And so like you kind of like overlooked them for a while, and like, oh, you'd find a Toy Story shirt and you'd be like, oh, that's cool, like that's sick, like Toy Story is a great movie. I'm still gonna sell it for $80 because that's all anyone's willing to pay. So I feel like they were getting slept on very heavily, to where like you kind of wouldn't have noticed like, oh, this Mickey Mouse all over print's actually really dope. But like since no one really likes it, it's not like hyped or anything. Um, I think that's maybe what it was. I'm not too sure. I feel like Disney shit, like it's kind of like Marvel shit, like it just fucking hit, like, and it just like really took off out of nowhere. But Marvel shit's a lot cooler in my opinion. But yeah, like the whole Toy Story shirts going for 1,000, like everyone wanting Aladdin t-shirts, like I find it a little crazy. I just think it's, I don't know. I'm gonna sound like a hater. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna sound like a hater. And like that's fine, like you can tell me I'm a fucking idiot. But I'm just trying to make this clear. I get it. This is just what I personally think, like based off of me. I think grown men wearing Beauty and the Beast shirts are a little weird. It's a little weird. Not they're weird. I think just doing it is a little like, you should be wearing something a little bit more mature. Like I think. But like when I see like 18-year-olds like doing it, or like high schoolers, like I don't think it's as bad. But like when you're like 28 and like you have a kid and you're wearing like Beauty and the Beast or like Snow White and shit, I think it's a little questionable. But again, like that's the beauty of all this, like, and I think it ties into like the whole like it's worth whatever someone's willing to pay. Like I wouldn't pay that much, but this guy would, so that's what it's worth. And I think it's cool that like if that's what you're into and that's what you like wear it. Like I'm sure that there's a lot of shit that I would wear that other people would be like, that's fucking stupid, or like that's lame. So I guess that's the beauty of vintage, right? Yeah. I'm trying to think of like any other key element. It's really hard to sit here and talk and like continuously think about new shit to talk about when you're by yourself. It's actually really difficult. I feel like I should have like wrote shit down and like put them like underneath my phone, like to like read off and be like, oh, I should talk about that next. I'm just trying to think of any other like, I guess I could say like what I think like will happen with the market. I guess it's hard to be a fortune teller for you guys. Actually, I'll say this because I do truly believe this. I was never like a hoarder or anything. Like I was never a collector. I was a seller. I kept stuff that I liked, but I would never keep it for very long. But I started keeping shit. I started hoarding shit. Like I definitely have my closet. I probably have like 60 pieces or so right now. And I've been doing it for probably like a month, maybe a month and a half. But I've only been keeping like dope shit, like really dope shit. I just truly believe that like this shit's about to go crazy. Like I'm looking at it as like an investment thing at this point, because if I would have kept every Toy Story shirt I had, I probably would have like cashed out like 50K like off this shit. So I don't know if that's me being like paranoid because of all this, but I truly think that like vintage as a whole, like as a community or whatever you want to say, it's like this is happening right now and shirts are hitting for 6K, and I don't even think like it's the tip of the iceberg type shit. Like I think that something's about to like really happen, and like that's on some serious shit. Like I think where like the whole vintage as a whole is about like I'll say 2 to 5. It's 2 to 5 key things away from happening. It's 2 to 5 key things happening away from like really like mainstream shit. Like vintage t-shirts are gonna be worth like 20K, 30K, 50K. Like shit's really gonna like smack. And I'm not gonna sit here and say like what I think those things are, because I don't really know. I think it's gonna end up with like anything that has to do with like being on Netflix. And I know like people are gonna bring up Slavy's World, and like no disrespect to Slavy, but like I just don't think that that was the best representation of like vintage. That's all I'll say. Um, I think that it'll end up with like something about like a TV show, like a documentary. I think that that's like one of the things. I think that like celebrities openly endorsing vintage sellers is another thing, because like people like Travis, like they love vintage, and you just saw Travis in the PS5 commercial wearing, I don't know how to pronounce your name, I'm sorry, but it's like Fats Buddha Spot. That's at least what I think it is. Like that's how it's spelled. It's like PHATS, so like Fats, and then Buddha, BUDDAHA, so like Buddha. I don't know if it's supposed to be Buddha though, but I think it's Buddha. And then Spot, like SPOT. Like Travis Scott was just wearing his merch, like not like his t-shirt that came from him, not like his vintage tee, like his actual merch in a PS5 commercial. So it's like, which is sick. Like that's fucking crazy. Like props to him. Like it looked like he got like some other shit to Travis. So like I'm not sure if he's like connected to his stylist or like he sent him it for free and like it just so happened that Travis wore it. But I'd imagine Travis has a lot of shit. So for Travis to wear like multiple things from him, like I think he has to be connected in some way, like to the stylist at least, which is fucking great. Like that's amazing. I wish I had more like celebrity stylist connects. But like imagine if Travis would have like fully endorsed that. Like imagine if Travis would have went out of his way to like post on his Instagram and say like this tee came from like Fats Buddha Spot or like something along those lines, and like really endorsed it, like really like looked out for the kid, like looked out for dude. I don't know him, or I maybe have met him because he's from Cali, so like I might have met him at Rose Bowl or something, but like really looked out for him and was like, yo, like I love your shirts, like you've hooked me up, like I'm gonna look out for you, like I got you, like I'm about to wear your merch in the PS5 commercial. Like imagine if he went out of his way and like in the credits of the PS5 commercial it said like T-shirt made by or like styled by, like, which is asking for a lot, but still. Or like if Travis would have just said it like on his Instagram, like, oh, like new PS5 commercial, like shout out Fast Food Spot for the tea, like type shit. Like that's when like it's really gonna like, I feel like once people start getting their credit and like people start like truly getting like what they like deserve, because I've given shit to famous people, I've sold shit to famous people, like I know how it is. And like I know that they tell you one thing and it doesn't, 99% of the time it doesn't happen. We've all played that game. But it's like I feel like if vintage sellers like started getting the respect that they like deserve in that aspect from celebrities, that's one thing that'll really change shit. Other like two, three things I don't know. I can try to think, but I think that it's like stuff along those lines, like on it, like it's the same shit that gets anything to like become like mainstream, but it's like something's gonna happen. And it's like if you think about like cards, like trading cards, like Pokemon cards and shit, like baseball cards, basketball cards, like hitting like $2 million, like 20K, like there are Pokemon cards from like 2016 selling for like fucking 30K, like it's something nutty. Like if a fucking trading card can sell for 20K to 2 million, a t-shirt can sell for 20K to 2 million. Like I'm sorry, because it's just like, you can tell me like, yeah, like that LeBron rookie card that sold for 2 million was 1 out of 15, but like there are t-shirts that are 1 out of 15, and like a t-shirt like LeBron's rookie year, what was that, like 2003? I don't know, but like early 2000s, LeBron was a rookie, right? So like a t-shirt from the early 2000s is gonna last a lot longer than like, or like not last as long like condition wise or like how it's kept than like a 2000s LeBron rookie card. I feel like maybe I don't know shit about cards, so maybe I'll probably just stop talking about cards. But like if cards can sell for that much, t-shirts can sell for that much. I'll just say that it's all fucking niche like community of collectors. Like it can happen. So I'm hoarding shit. I think that like soon, like within the next couple years, like if a couple key elements happen, like shit's really gonna change, and it'll be interesting. Cause this is like how I look at it a little bit. Obviously not as mainstream, but like I'm 20, almost 23. Wow, I'm almost 23. So like I don't know about how many of you like grew up watching like video games and stuff like on YouTube, like when that was big. Like I used to watch all the Phase guys, you know, like Call of Duty shit. Um, but like just think like about like Phase Rain, Phase Adapt, like all Banks, Temper, like all those guys, all those kids, like they were like kids. Like they were the same age as like me or like anyone around my age, whatever. Um, and like you used to watch just like Phase Rain like in his basement, like playing video games, and like he uploaded to YouTube because he thought it was fun. And look at him, look at all of them now. Like they're all fucking like so like B C list celebrities, like but they have fucking cash. Like they're all rich now. And so it's just like, or any other person that like once you hit 100,000 followers on Instagram, you start getting like ads and sponsors and shit. Like imagine once like vintage people start getting to that level, and like you have people that are already at like 70K, like 75K, almost 80K. Like I'm at like 50K. Corbin's at like 60K almost, or like 55K. You have other people that are right around me, like right around like 50K, 55K, 45K. Like that's a lot. And so it's like imagine like once there's like 5, 10 of us that all have like 100K, 120K, 150K, 90K, like that's a big chunk of people like distributed in between like 10 people. So it's like something's gonna happen. I don't know. This is like kind of conspiracy theory at this point. But it's like something's gonna happen. And like someone's gonna get some type of deal, and that's gonna spawn deals for everyone else. Like let's say like Corbin goes out or Heat Broker goes out. I'm just using him as like my forever example for names, I guess. Um, like let's say Corbin goes out and he gets like a fucking Netflix deal, and he gets, I don't know, fucking documentary about him, whatever, anything, and that gets put out, it hits. That's gonna get me a deal for something. That's gonna get Rich or as Vintage OC a deal for something. Like it's gonna like snowball effect into it all. So that's, I don't know. That's where I think it's going personally. Like I think it has to. Like it's everything's gonna continue to grow until like it's at that level. Like that's just how it works, right? So, but I couldn't tell you what t-shirts are gonna be cool next. So I mean that's something that you gotta figure out. I think RTs are gonna be sick next. Like on some real shit. Like I think as people mature, like no offense to people that wear Disney tees again, but like I think as people mature and like get into more adult like things, like Picasso t-shirts are sick. Like Vincent Van Gogh t-shirts are sick. Like Andy Warhol t-shirts are sick. Banksy, like Matisse, fucking anything like that. Like I literally have like have my phone on some books right now, and there's like a bunch of like art books. So like I'm just reading things and shit. But like Basquiat, like you know, like all that. Like Escher, I don't think Escher will ever be that big. Like unless there's some crazy ones, but like I think they're too common. But like, have you ever noticed that you don't really see Basquiat tees like that? Like 90s ones, they don't pop up that much. Or like good Andy Warhol tees are fucking sick. Like nice, like the 80s Marilyn Monroe one, like that shit's nice. Good Keith Haring tees, fucking nice. Matisse, same thing. Like I just got, oh fuck, I don't remember the name of the artist. I think it's something like Monk or something like that. But like the Scream, like I just got a tee for that. That's really dope. But like shit like that, like Van Gogh, Da Vinci, like I think that like stuff like that will start to like rise up and like start to gain a lot of value strictly because it is hard to find. MC Eschers and stuff aren't that hard to find. Keith Haring's, the really good ones the really good ones are hard to find. Andy Warhol, hard to find. All those other like artists, like their t-shirts they don't pop up. Like Miro, like they don't pop up like that. So it's like I feel like if Disney t-shirts can continuously hit for like anywhere from 100 to fucking 6,000 apparently. Like I feel like our t-shirts will start like as people kind of like submerge themselves more into vintage and kind of like that whole area like matures a little bit. I think that like our tees will start popping off. Sorry. Other than that, I don't know. I think rap tees will always hit. I think band tees will always hit. I think that like the Marvel tees will hold their value because they are really dope. And yeah, like I don't know. This has actually been a while. So I tried to not make this video too long, and I'm a rambler, so I probably rambled on. It's probably been like 30 minutes or some shit already. Yeah. So that's like my idea on like the market right now. Just quick little run back. Fucking $6,000 Aladdin tees. Fucking Corbin. Um, but yeah, I think COVID had everything to do with it, and like the whole like unemployment money and like the stimulus money and like whatever else. People being bored at home. I think it's a great fucking thing, and if you don't, I think you need to fucking get out your ego a little bit because it's great. It's a truly great thing. And yeah, I said like what I think. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I can say, but I mean I guess not. Otherwise I'll think of it, right? So you can feel free to comment and tell me I'm a fucking idiot. You can feel free and comment and tell me I'm fucking right. Or yeah, just say like whatever you think. Like say like why you think the market is the way it is now, or like how you feel about shirts selling for 6K, like how you feel about fucking Disney t-shirts, how you feel about COVID money, like if you hate what's happening, like just tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel. Again, I don't know how often I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try to do it more. I had my little stint like a year ago. It's crazy, it's been a year already, but like I had my little stint a year ago, and I put out like a few videos. So I'm gonna try to like, instead of stressing about it so much, I think I'm just gonna try to like kind of whenever I think of something, I'm gonna do it. So it could be every week, it could be a couple times a week, it could be every month, it could be every 2 months. Like I don't know what to tell you. So don't hold anything to me. You can DM me on Instagram. Buy shit on my site. I'll say that. I'm gonna plug myself real quick. www.thethriftlord.com. Go buy shit. There's always t-shirts on there. Always some sick t-shirts. Follow me on Instagram, because apparently a lot of you actually don't follow me on Instagram, which I find fucking crazy. Follow me on Instagram for like shit that I find all the time, and more like story rants and shit. But yeah, so I appreciate you. Thanks for listening to me ramble. Again, it's gonna take me a couple videos to get back into like how I feel on camera. I used to be really good at it, I feel like, but yeah, I'll get back there. Thanks again. Comment and shit, subscribe and shit, do whatever. Yeah.